Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, today is the 17th of November. I had to look to see what it was. It's a blustery day today. There's some wind. UAV forecast says 17-mile-an-hour winds with a 31-mile-an-hour gust. It's not that powerful, so UAV forecast is clearly overstating it today. But I do have the Mavic Air 2 with me today. I'm at Redahusky Park in town here in Meridian, and you know what? I just felt like flying, and this was going to be my last chance for a couple of days because we've got some precipitation coming in, and it's fairly warm today. It's in the mid-50s, so it's, you know, fairly pleasant compared to some weather we've had recently where it got pretty darn cold. So I just thought I'd take a chance to take this guy up and fly. Plus there was the new firmware update for it. So I had to get out my phone here to look at the firmware update. It is version 01.00.0460. What that did for us is it adds support for the so that the controller can be used with the Mini too. So you can use the Mavic Air 2 controller with the Mini, which is handy. If you had both drones, you would only have to carry one controller. And the cool thing about that controller is it's got a pretty big battery on it, so you could do that. It updates the default return to home to 100 meters, which is unusual. I thought I was set mine pretty high at 60 meters, but they're saying 100 meters. Optimize the downward vision system. So the downward vision system will be able to see down 30 meters now. That's 100 feet in the air, so optical flow from 100 feet up, that's amazing. And then I'm not sure what this one means. Optimized logic of rotational speed of fan after powering on in order to reduce noise and power consumption. So I assume that's the fan inside the drone. And optimized detection and app alert when propellers are unfolded. So I'm not exactly sure what that means either, but that's what's going on with the app, or excuse me, with the firmware on the drone. And then with regard to the app, I was looking at my smart controller because I'm going to use my smart controller today to see which version of the Fly app it had, and it is version 1.1.6. Now my understanding is that that is a version that is for the smart controller only. I think if you have an Android phone, your Android version is different. And then of course on iOS, I know that the latest app is version 1.2.1, which I have on my iPhone. But again, I'm going to use the smart controller, so I don't know what difference that'll make. I guess we'll find out. So like I said, I just want to do a little channel update, tell you what's going on with my Mini 2 and so forth. But let's save that till we get this guy in the air. Let's put this little drone in the air and we'll just look around here a little bit. They're doing some construction over here, and this is kind of a unique park, and I haven't been out here for a while, so just an opportunity to fly. Hey, so let's quit messing around. Let's get this bird in the air. Okay, so I've got the smart controller booted up and we've started a screen recording. Let's go ahead and hit the Fly app here and see if we can get going. And we are in an enhanced warning zone, so this is, I believe, what you would call Class E airspace. You're limited to 150 meters, and of course we're not going to get that high at all. So I don't see any reason why we can't go right into the app, so we're going to click Go Fly. And I'm going to, the little icon that tells me the screen recorder is often in the way, so I'm moving it to the side here so it's out of our way. And yeah, so let's look. Now you're seeing 92% battery there because I used this battery to update the drone. So I'm going to switch it into video mode, and we're in 4K 30 frames per second. That's where we want to be. Well, you know what, we might as well put it in zoom mode because we may have the opportunity to zoom in on some things here. So our pre-flight check was normal, so we don't need to do any further calibrations. Let's go ahead and start recording. And gosh, I see no reason why we shouldn't take off. So I'm going to get out of the way here so you guys can see it on camera. Holding the takeoff. So let's go up a ways and give the drone a good look at its return to home, and we'll try that precision return to home when we bring it back. But let's bring it down here and get a good look at the camera, or the drone. Get the drone in front of the camera. And it is you know, the obstacle avoidance is going off here because it doesn't like the camera and me in front of it. But let's see if we can bring it in a little. And it's really beeping now. Let's move it back and forth a little bit. I like to show that gimbal in action. So there you see the gimbal in action. And we are going to do a droney, but we're going to do it in a different direction here because I do not want to go over the top of these houses that are behind me. So let me move the drone around here a little. Okay. And even this way we're going to be limited because we've got some contractors back there that are working on the new version of the park. And I see a helicopter off to my left, but he is way out of our way. So, and interestingly enough, that's not showing on my APAS here. So, but in any case, let's go reversing up. And that's as far as we're going to go there because there are some contractors working over there. Let's move over just a little bit. Went the wrong way there. And you can see this is not as big of a park as like Heroes Park that you see me fly at quite a bit. But let's turn around. And we have another small aircraft above us. He's way up there. But interestingly enough, nothing on ADS-B. I think I said APAS earlier. I meant to say ADS-B. So this is where all the contractors are working, and I did not want to go over the top of them with the drone, but we can get a little bit closer here. We can even grab some altitude. Drop the gimbal down. So looks like they're building another part to the park here, and that is a parking area that they're working on. And you know, as we well, let's drop the camera down some more, and I will kind of rotate. I'll yaw around here and see if we can get a look at the other part here. So those are clearly swales that they're working on there. And what a swale is it's for flood control. It retains water during heavy rain cycles. So clearly that's what's going on there. And then yeah, so I guess it looks like that's all that's going to be. But then I was looking at this other part here. Although they have a fence there, I thought maybe that might be an extension of the park and that they might plant that in grass, but maybe not, because they did put a fence there. So then this is a canal, a drainage canal right here, and it's got a walking path by it. So I am assuming that that is just a parking spot so people can access the walking path. And we'll go over the top of that here. You can take a look. And you're going to see off in the distance there another kind of a park area. That, I believe, is a private park for one of the subdivisions that's here. So I'm dropping altitude here, as you can see. We're going to get down about 60 meters. I got another aircraft directly above me. Lots of airplanes flying off around today. It's kind of interesting that none of them are showing up on ADS-B. We're not getting any ADS-B warnings, which is interesting. Typically you do when you have aircraft around like that, but that's a reason that you gotta, you know, ADS-B or not, you gotta keep your ears open and listen for aircraft, and have situational awareness, know where you're at. And of course, we're pretty low here. I mean, we're up 55 meters. It would be unusual. We're going to cross this street while we got a clear spot here, so we can take a look at this park here. We are not going to cross. That is U-Stick Road there. We're not going to cross that. We're going to stay over the ditch here. But what you always want to have, and I'm not trying to sound preachy here, but you do have to have situational awareness and be aware of manned aircraft around you. You can see that's a pretty busy road, so we're not going to go anywhere near that. But I believe this green area here, and we will slowly rotate around here. I'll drop the camera and see if I can do a slow yaw here so you guys can see it. This, I believe, is just a neighborhood park for that subdivision, neighborhood green area. And we'll pick the camera back up. Looks like they've got a pool, a community pool in their subdivision. That's kind of cool. Parking area there. So let's move over here a little bit. There's nobody on the walking path, so we're good being over the top of that. And let's hurry over the top of the street here so that we are not over the top of any cars. There's some people on the walking path, so we are going to move over the top of the drainage ditch here. And these trees. And we're coming back to where I'm standing. You can see me off in the distance there. And we'll go ahead and we'll go right down the drain ditch here so that you can see what I was talking about, where those contractors were at. Picked up the gimbal just a tad there so you can see it. And they're hard at work there. And I think what we're looking at across the street there, I might be wrong. Maybe not. I was thinking that was the wastewater treatment plant, or one of the wastewater treatment plants for Meridian, but I'm not going to swear to that. Yeah, that is what it is. So right there, not that building in the foreground, but that building further out next to the storage area, that is the wastewater treatment plant for the city. And I do not want to cross 10-mile road there. It's a fairly busy road. You know, I cross it sometimes when I'm over at Heroes Park, but there's a lot going on here, so we're just going to avoid that today. Like I said, it's you know, UAV forecast said 17-mile-an-hour winds. I can tell you it's just not even close to that. And it even said 34-mile-an-hour gusts. Well, we have some wind. It's not it certainly isn't that much. Fairly new subdivision here you're looking at, and I don't even know the name of this subdivision. And I'm here in another aircraft, and boy, I'll tell you what, he is fairly low. He's well out of our way. He's way off. Maybe I can get him on camera here and see if you guys can see it. I'm going to see if I can point the camera up. So I'm not seeing it on FPV here. It's too small for me to see, but hopefully when we look at the SD card you can see it. But the thing that was concerning me is his engine was sputtering. I heard him a while back, and boy, his engine was sputtering pretty good. I don't know if you guys were able to hear that on screen. Oh, there he is. I wasn't lined up on him. There you can see him now, off in the distance there. And I apologize, I was not lined up well earlier. There he is. And like I said, when he went by, he was sputtering pretty good. So I don't know what was going on there. Okay, let's get back over the top of where we are here. And I see some people walking in the park here, so we definitely want to stay clear of them. So let's take a look at, and we're going to stay up above it fairly high here, but the facilities here at the park. And I talked about them on another on a different flight, but I think it's kind of cool. They have these pickleball courts here, and they're really popular. A lot of people play that pickleball. And then of course the children's play area, but then they got a half basketball court, and they got a picnic shelter right there with picnic tables underneath it, and a little basketball court. So it looks like we are, and by the way, the drone is just almost directly above us right now. So let's move forward here while we got the chance, and there's no people here. And we're going to go down this other little leg of the park here. And this little green area that you see here, I was talking to the head groundskeeper here. You know, I was thinking that this was actually part and parcel to the park, but it's not. And she was telling me that she believes that that this may be part of the irrigation district. So, well, let me back up here a little bit so I can show you something. So one of the things about Idaho is that this was all basically agriculture. And shoot, let's use the zoom here. I forgot I have the zoom capability, so I'm going to zoom in on a couple of things there. So I'm going to zoom down in on these two little, they look like grates here. So what you're seeing there is is part of the irrigation system. So at one time, this would have been an open irrigation ditch, and now it's all underwater. And so those little spots there are for that irrigation system, and I think they can turn the head gates on and off there and so forth. So this green area is maintained by the irrigation district. So we can take a little trip down this. We won't hurt. There's nobody on there, and we can stay right over the top of the green area. And one of the things about this drone is that you can be really precise with it. And there again, you're going to see another spot there that is another area that you can tell that this was an open ditch, and that's a head gate there, I believe, that they can adjust the amount of flow going down. I'm sure it's a pipe now underneath. Now we're not going to go over this street. We're just going to turn around and go right back. But it's interesting that that's how they can control the irrigation. And now that it's a residential area, it's not an open ditch, it's underground, but still can provide irrigation water. Now that's another thing I guess to mention is one of the cool things that we have here in Idaho is all of our irrigation for our lawns, etc., is not domestic water. It's irrigation water. So we literally have two separate water systems. You have one for domestic water for your home that's provided by the city, and then another for irrigation for your yard. And there, I can't help but brag a little bit. There is my my Chevy Tahoe. What the heck? Let's see if we can zoom in on that guy. I am loving that rig, man. I'm telling you what. Okay, so I promised a little bit of a channel update. So so let's talk about that a little bit. Let's move back over the park here. So with regard to my Mini 2, my DJI Mini 2, if you haven't seen it, I will put a link up above here for the video. On my very first flight, when I was out at the Snake River Canyon, I almost lost that drone. And what happened was it literally went out of control and was kind of spiraling into the canyon. I put it into sport mode, and I was still, even in sport mode, I was not able to recover it. It still was out of control. So I flipped it into return to home, and about then I started seeing it ascending, and it came back to me. And so I was relieved about that. And I went on to fly a couple more. I had 3 charged batteries, so I flew the other batteries with it, and went on to fly those without incident. But my friend Lauren Donauer with the Calgary Drone Group convinced me that that maybe I should do I should get a hold of DJI Support. So I did. So let's see, while we're at it here, yeah, now we're getting an ADS-B, manned aircraft nearby, but we're just a few feet off the ground, so we're not in any, well, you know, that's not going to cause us, but anyway, let's expand out that map so you can see. Yeah, and we can't see where he's at, so we'll drop that back down. I didn't see him on the map there at all, so we'll drop that back down. Let's go ahead and go into intelligent flight modes here for a second, and let's do a maybe do a rocket. So we had to stop recording to do that, so we're going to click on the quick shots, and it's given me an instruction here which I already know how to do. We are going to select, what the heck, let's do a Helix. A Helix is one of my favorite. We'll go up, I don't know, let's do a big one. Let's crank that baby up. Okay, we're 75 meters. I'm clicking on me, and we're going to take our quick shot here. Okay, so now while the drone is flying itself, I can talk to you guys. What happened was, you know, obviously there was some kind of wind event. You know, people talked about wind shear and all kinds of different things. And yeah, there is an aircraft. He is above us, but he is way up there, so no hazard at all. So, and you guys, I'm sure, heard that, so that's why I wanted to tell you what was going on. But in any case, people were telling me, oh, you know, you hit a thermal, wind shear, or whatever, and there was no doubt some kind of a wind event that caused that drone to lose control, or was a partial cause of that drone losing control. Lauren Donauer helped me look at the flight records of that drone, and we saw a number of compass errors in there. So out of an abundance of caution, I sent it back to, and the drone is coming back to us here, I sent it back to DJI Support, opened a ticket with DJI Support, I should say, sent it back, and let's move. Okay, I know I keep messing you guys up here halfway telling the story, but let's go back in here, and let's go into let's do a droney, and let's kick it up a ways here. I'm telling you, this smart controller is a lot tougher to, for the touchscreen just doesn't work as well. Okay, we're gonna start. Anyway, so I did hear back from DJI Support, and there was a problem with the main board, so they're replacing the main board on that drone under warranty, and I should have it back in a few days. So yeah, we're getting low battery here, so this thing will be coming back. I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to let it finish its droney here. We're not very far away, so it's going to be fine. So we're going to stop that, and we're going to click return to home here. Maybe. So I'm trying the touch screen on the app, and it's just not taking the command. And it is colder today. I'm touching the return to home on the screen, and it's just not taking it. So I'm going to hit it on the controller. So we put it into return to home on the controller. And so let's see if it'll get a precision landing. But what I was going to say is DJI did warranty it, and they replaced the main board on the Mini, and I should have that back in a few days. So I'm really I'm anxious to see that. I'm anxious to get the drone back and anxious to fly it again. So now that's 60 meters, right, on return to home. Just think if it was that default 100 meters. I just think that's, I don't know why they did that. That's awful high. People must have been crashing their drones into things. That's the only thing I can think of. But in any case, I'm looking forward to getting that Mini 2 back and getting it back up in the air and trying some things out with it. Oh shoot, let's start recording here with this guy. I forgot to start recording there, but we got it now. And let's see if we get the, if it finds the landing pad here. Oh yeah, it's moving over now. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get it. This is amazing. And it'll pick up the gimbal here. Yeah, there, it picked up the gimbal. And of course the rear sensors are seeing us, the obstacle avoidance sensors, but it's gonna hit right on top of the H there. So it's on the mat. You know, you just got to appreciate DJI. Okay, let's stop recording. Let me get everything shut down, and we'll do a conclusion. Okay guys, the Mavic Air 2, it just always reminds me what a pleasure it is to fly DJI drones. Everything just works, and it works well. And this guy performed wonderfully. Fair amount of wind. You didn't even know it, right? The drone just flies like normal. So we did a couple quick shots there, and kind of showed you around the park and some of the construction that they're still doing here. But aside from that, talked a little bit about what's going on with my Mini 2. I hope to get that thing back hopefully by the end of the week. It might take a little bit longer. But again, DJI did replace the main board in that drone. So it did tell me that it wasn't just whatever happened out there at the canyon, wasn't just that there was wind, it was also an issue with the drone. So I'll be happy to get that back. But the other thing I want to say is how great DJI Support is. You know, I sent that drone in less than a week ago. Already have resolution on it. I know what they're doing with it. So, you know, I'll probably have it back start to finish. It's probably going to be less than 2 weeks getting that drone back. So, so I'm grateful for that. In any case, I guess that's about it. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really appreciate you taking the time to look at this video today. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.